Well, hello again. It's me, Ganny, that woman that just doesn't go away. Another story time, bedtime story time tonight. Tonight I'm reading Jeremy's Muffler, and I think a grandmother made him a scarf and made it real big. Now, y'all know that sometimes when I'm making blankets for you, I get excited and I make them real big. But I make them for when you're older, they're going to last for you. When you're older, they're going to be big enough. But this is called Jeremy's Muffler by Laura Nielsen, illustrated by Christine Schneider. Illustrator, pictures, author is the writer. All righty. It's his Aunt Alice that made this. Aunt. Jeremy's Aunt Alice was very forgetful. Glasses. She was always forgetting what day it was, or where she had left her glasses, or whether she watered the plants. But she did love Jeremy, and she never forgot his birthday. As we get older, we do sometimes forget things, and it's not because we want to forget them. It just happens to some people when they get old, but we still love you, so you always have to remember that. Unfortunately, when she sent him a present, she always forgot something else. She would forget what size he was, or how old he was, or how many arms he had. One year, she simply forgot to stop. Aunt Alice knitted Jeremy a muffler, which is, I think, kind of like a scarf. She went through 3 miles of yarn before she ran out. Then she wrapped the muffler in red paper and mailed it out. Jeremy was never sure of what to expect when he opened a present from Aunt Alice. "Oh, wow," he said. It's long." That was the nicest polite thing he could think of to say. When someone gives you a present, you don't say anything bad. So he was trying to be really nice, and he just said it was long. Jeremy's mother said that he had to wear it so he wouldn't hurt Aunt Alice's feelings. It wasn't as hopeless as most of the things from Aunt Alice, but wearing it still wasn't easy. Do you see how big that thing is? There's the end still hanging off. The muffler got caught in the school bus door. Sometimes it wrapped itself around Jeremy's legs and tripped him. Jeremy had to keep a sharp eye out for dogs and bicycles, because if they run over it, it gets caught in the wheel, or the dog get a part of it and just run in his mouth. At recess, the 5th graders used Jeremy's muffler as a jump rope. The 6th graders called him King Tut, because he's all wrapped up. But there's the jump rope. Sledding was difficult, and ice skating was nearly impossible because he would get tripped up on it. Jeremy decided to lose his muffler. After all, people were always losing hats and scarves and mittens. But losing this muffler wasn't so easy. Jeremy left it in the library, but the librarian called that night to say she had found it. He put it on the library shelf around over all the books and through the drawers. In front of the books, right here. I mean, there's a lot. In front of the books, on top of the books, behind the books, or on top, and on an empty shelf in the drawers. He's really trying to lose it. He tried leaving it on the school bus, but the driver stopped by his house that very afternoon when she finished her route. "I remembered this was yours the minute I laid my eyes on it," she explained. I guess that's the bus driver. Even when the muffler somehow turned up in the garbage can, the trash collectors recognized it and brought it back. "Well, it would be a shame if we accidentally hauled this to the dump," the garbage man said. To make matters worse, his mother said he was getting to be very forgetful, and so she sewed his mittens to a string so he wouldn't lose them. All Jeremy could do was hope for spring when he didn't have to wear it anymore. Winter seemed to last forever. Jeremy began to think that the flowers had decided not to bloom and that the river would stay frozen all year. That's what made, when it's cold and it's winter, the flowers don't bloom, the rivers turn to ice. But finally, one morning, Jeremy noticed cracks in the ice, in the river ice. Unfortunately, he also noticed Elsie Jones out skating on it. Ooh, you don't go skating out on a river or lake without anybody else, and you never know if the ice is safe. Before he could warn her, he heard a terrible crack, and Elsie fell into that ice cold, dark water. She bobbed back up, thrashing wildly, but the ice was breaking all around her, so she couldn't climb out. She'd try to climb, and the ice would break, and she'd reach more right here, and the ice would break. There was only one thing to do. Jeremy peeled out of his muffler in record time. He hitched one end to a tree and he tossed the other end to Elsie. She grabbed hold and Jeremy reeled her in. Look at that. He threw it out there. He tied it to the tree and then threw it out there so that it wouldn't fall off. People on the bridge had seen this accident, so within 3 minutes, the ambulance, a police car, and a fire truck had arrived at the scene. But they were too late. Elsie was already rescued and wrapped up in the dry end of Jeremy's muffler. He was smart. He used that and he saved her. Jeremy was a hero. Reporters wrote stories about him. They took pictures, but photographers took pictures with him wearing the muffler, of course. I didn't read that page good. I'm going to read it again for you. Jeremy was a hero. Reporters wrote stories about him, and photographers took his picture wearing that muffler, of course. See, he's in the newspaper. A fancy department store downtown started selling mufflers just like Jeremy's. And then all of the other stores started selling cheap imitations. Jeremy was afraid it would never end, and he would be stuck wearing Aunt Alice's muffler for the rest of his life. Now it's like Nike shoes or Under Armour. So they were all making his scarf. Then Jeremy got a phone call. It was from the mayor. Young man, the whole town is proud of you, the mayor said. You are brave and you think fast. I know this is a lot to ask, but would you be willing to donate your wonderful muffler to the town museum? The mayor asked him would he give it to the town for a museum. A museum is where there's a lot of old things or special things that people like to go see. I like to go to museums. Jeremy thought carefully. Could you put up a sign saying that the muffler was knitted by Miss Alice Appleflinger? He asked. Of course, the mayor promised. Well, then you can have it. The muffler was put in a glass case near the front of the museum. Jeremy's mother and father were proud. Aunt Alice, she was very proud because remember, she made it. But no one was happier than Jeremy. He didn't have to lose it. He didn't have to make up a story about losing it because he was embarrassed by the size of it. When us older people make you guys things, make you, girls and boys things, we sometimes make it big because we're looking at you as you're going to be big one day. So when you're little, it seems like too much. But anyway, we make you stuff you might not like, you might not use. Just remember, always be polite, because when we make something, we're taking our time. Like me reading these bedtime stories to you, I could be doing something else. But I want to do this because it is for you. I want you to be happy. Remember me. Laugh when I'm not here, okay? I love you so much. Be good for your moms. I want you to get some rest because, you probably got a busy day tomorrow. Danny loves you so very much. If you were right here, I'd kiss your whole faces. Good night, guys.